3 skins lost more market cap this week than most businesses have in total. And the people who caused it, they're not done. They're simply freeing up capital.
And now for our Counter-Strike report. New York's very own Mike Water.
Welcome back to the news. I'm your host, Mike Water 9. A rough week on the surface, but just a little bit of digging will show that it's all for naught. Market cap is down 3.4% on the week, from 5.52 billion 7 days ago to 5.32 as of making this video. This is, I believe, the steepest market decline we've seen on DE News thus far. Now, as I say, the number does not matter, the direction does. And the direction is steep, but the market was not broadly eroded. Rather, it was a surgical exit by a few big players in the market. Now, we have some younger viewers and newer investors who aren't sure what all of these terms mean. So what is market cap? In general, it is going to be the amount of shares multiplied by the price. So if I have these two shirts and they're each worth $20, I have 2 shirts times 20. That's a $40 market cap on my shirt business. So the CS2 equivalent is going to be the total number of supply of a gun multiplied by its market price. Now this of course does not take into account patterns, low floats, things of this sort. However, those are outliers and can be ignored. So we revisit our MP9 Hydra dump that we talked about 2 days ago, in which prices went from 400 to 150 in around an hour. Now there are 8,000 MP9 Hydras in factory new condition. So a decrease from 400 to 150 is minus 250 per gun times 8,000. So the MP9 Hydra in factory new alone decreased the market cap by $2 million. Now it wasn't just the MP9 Hydra, it was the MP9 stained glass, it was the MP9 setting sun, it was the souvenir dark age MP9, it was the Glock Ironwork. These 5 guns, factory new, minimal wear, field tested, well worn, battle scarred, all down, made up most of the losses on the week. So even though the market cap is down, if you look at your inventory, a lot of things probably didn't move all too much. And what you're not thinking about is a lot of these sales happened on Steam. So the capital did not disappear. Those Steam funds could be pending right now. They could be used on armory passes, which don't technically count towards the market cap immediately. They could buy new skins, new cases, put them in storage units, etc. And who has those $2 million? Well, it's the people who had those MP9s in the first place, the pump groups. And now they have a fresh slate, a bunch of capital to use, and all they're going to do is eye their next target, which if you didn't have any MP9s is a nice sentiment. The pump money is right now gone temporarily, which means you have some time to breathe, relax, and actually figure out an intelligent next play for yourself. Now, even with a group dumping a price, there is still a pattern that a lot of people miss. Right, I constantly talk about sell the news. When an armory collection gets discontinued, for example, what you see is a giant sharp uptick in price, temporarily. And I always say there's going to be a pullback, so make sure you actually sell the news. This always happens because sellers are now in the profit, so the amount of sellers willing and able to sell increase. As prices go up and up and up, the amount of buyers that are willing and able to buy go down. Sellers eventually outweigh buyers, and price starts to move back downwards before consolidating at a higher price than before. Now that pullback is guaranteed to happen. Whether it starts to trend upwards from that pullback or downwards depends. If the demand is real, such as the Deagle Starcade, you see a small pullback and immediately it starts to trend right back upwards, going even above the initial price spike just weeks after the first spike. For stuff like the M4 control panel and field tested, well, it kind of just tapers off. Well, that same mechanism works in reverse. When dumps occur, the non-dumpers, the non-knowers, insiders, also start to sell to relieve their position and not lose the maximum amount of money. This compounds the decrease too fast for new buyers to take notice and get in. And once they do take notice and get in, massive buying pressure occurs, buyers outweigh sellers, price goes up. Then it finds its consolidation point. Again, lower than what it initially was, but it's still higher than that bottom minimum point. Think about Season 4, when the case bug happened, in which you were only able to buy 1 key at a time. Now there was a lot of panic, and prices for some cases dipped nearly 10% down because they thought Valve was making a change. Around 2 hours later, it was just a bug and it was patched. But once it was patched, all you had was cases 10% off for a limited time. So it's pretty much a guaranteed plus 10% play if you bought in there. So there's the tension. A lot of dump heavy dips are going to be decent buying opportunities in the short term. You don't know whether they're going to go up or down after that initial dump, However, you can pretty much guarantee a decent leg up right after that initial dump. That does, of course, come with risk. Obviously, you don't know how much it's going to dump or how much it's going to pump in the inverse, so you have to be able to stomach and take some hits. But you do win more than you lose with this strategy. A look at the indexes confirm that this is just a concentrated loss with market cap. The low tier index makes up the majority of the losses in value, with the low tier being down 4% and the other two, mid and high tier, staying right about break even. So this kind of confirms this wasn't a market-wide correction, more so targeted liquidation, which has a direct impact on market cap. We then zoom in to last week's segment in which we talked about the Anubis Collection, because it still does have pretty interesting price action. After stark price increases in anticipation of the Season 4 update, in which I guess some people were expecting an Anubis Collection to be released, it has started to trend downwards since the Anubis Collection did in fact not come out. This was also very prevalent within the armory over the last week. A lot of stuff just trended downwards, creating very good buying opportunities for yourself if you had some cash ready to go. When people buy in anticipation of an update and the update disappoints them in terms of what they bought and what they were anticipating for, you then get an increased amount of sellers in the short term per unit of time. More listings, more people undercutting each other, price moves downwards. Now this is a mechanism you exploit. Someone commented last night that investing in this space is useless because most people don't buy to invest. They purchase to buy nice skins, nice aesthetic play skins for themselves for in-game usage. He's correct. He's correct about people buying play skins. He's not correct that it's useless to invest. That fact is your biggest edge because you simply have no competition. People panic buy, they panic sell all the time, every single time. And all you have to do is have some skins ready to go to sell into hype or to buy into panic. And it works every fucking time. These players aren't tracking the weekly data. They're not watching the news yet. This shit's going global. I don't give a fuck. So when the Anubis Collection comes out, speculated to be in March, they're going to look at the discontinued Anubis Collection. They're going to see some cool skins in there. They're going to buy those. Demand's going to go up. Price will increase. While it was trending down over this week, you were purchasing and accumulating. Because if the thesis behind your investment is intact and nothing changes other than the timeline expected to get there, then you keep buying. You don't sell. Why the fuck would you sell? If anything, the market's begging you to buy more. The Anubis Collection has great looking skins, so it's going to be a highly demanded play skin collection. The purples all hold decent trade-up value, and even the grays and light blues in this collection look decent aesthetically. The primary risk is that if the Anubis Collection doesn't come out, then you still have a supply of souvenir packages coming in with the next major and Anubis being in the active pool now. But I doubt you see the Anubis Collection actually come back in its state in the armory, so you can hedge that possible outcome by just buying fillers instead of buying the top red. Before we get into our watch list from last week and looking at this week's watch list, we will start a new segment here on the news, the Arbitrage Play of the Week. If you are not familiar with Arbitrage, please look at my armory video from a couple days ago where we go in depth on what it is and how to use it. The Arbitrage Play of the Week, sponsored by UUSkins, the best and cheapest marketplace in North America and EU. Verifiably low prices, 24/7 support, access to the Chinese market without any VPNs or middlemen, guaranteed delivery within 10 hours with very little risk of reversal. That's going to be the AK Slate in field-tested condition. Right now, the AK Slate starts at $4.62 on UUSkins. On Steam, starts at $6.83 in listings. We will round that to $7 for sake of math simplicity, which after the Steam tax will net you around $6 or $5.95. That is $1.30 per AK Slate you buy. Now you might be saying, why would I do that? The skins on the Steam market are more expensive than UU. Correct. But you know what isn't? The Armory Pass. You need Steam funds to buy Armory Passes. With this method, you get Armory Passes for cheaper, 30% cheaper. And when you get your money for 30% cheaper, then your Armory Pass costs 30% cheaper. And you divide that by 40, 1 star is cheaper. So now when you get a sticker that costs 25 cents or 30 cents, that's usually a 10-cent loss for you. Now, it's break even, or maybe even a little bit of profit. Again, this is not guaranteed profit. However, it is maximizing your chances of making profit every single time you click that Armory Redeem button. And that is how you win, not here, anywhere. Now let's take a look at last week's watch list. The first item, or two items I should say, on the watch list were the Gamma cases, Gamma 1 and Gamma 2. Gamma 1 stayed around break even over the 7-day period, Gamma 2 up around 1%, so both pretty negligible gains. Not dramatic, but the market cap is down 3%, but relatively you're up 3% on some aspects of the market. You could take advantage of that, or you could just hold. Choice is up to you. The second call was the MP9 Astrolabe from the Graphic Design Collection. It is a light blue with very good fundamentals, and ignoring the mic water pump, it did settle at around a 20% gain over what it was last week. This one is a long-term hold. Zoom out a little bit on that chart and just take a look at that beautiful uptrend. Would definitely hold. Would definitely hold, especially if you have ultra low float fillers. The last call was, of course, the AK Aphrodite. The AK that cost $50 and cost like 100 hours of your time to get was like $22 on Steam, $16 in well-worn, $20 in field tested for like 4 days after it came out. Literally the easiest play of my life. I didn't expect field tested to go above $50, but I realistically saw it going to like 45, 46. You could think the gun's ugly. Again, I don't give a fuck if you think a skin is ugly. There's aesthetics and there's mechanics. And the mechanics were going to make that price go up whether you liked it or not. And it went up. Prices found equilibrium for a little bit around $48, $47, and now they've started to trend downwards a little bit. So it could be a good time to exit if they're ready to be traded or marketed. Right? I don't buy the skins or put skins on the watch list because they look cool, or because if you scrape a sticker, rotate it 50 degrees, it looks like a fucking penis. I don't give a fuck. I choose shit based on mechanics, and that's why what I say works. High conviction comes from mechanics. Mechanics are the fuel that makes your car move. The aesthetics are like hydraulics. It's the sound system, but it don't make the car move. It just makes your movement a little bit cooler. Now, before this week's watch list, sticker craft of the week. It's gonna go to this guy in our Discord. Shout out you. This is an interesting one. Really creative, dude. Thank you so much for submitting this. And it looks good in first person if you're into that type of stuff. So moving on to this week's watch list. First one is going to be true factory new fillers. If you don't know what that means, consider watching yesterday's video in which I give you a full rundown on what they are and how to find them for each gun in the game. People commented that the output float matters, so you don't need a true factory new gun to trade up to it in some cases. That is correct. That was not the point of the video. The point of the video was that the trade up update ruined most factory new fillers. Now it's a fixed supply and demand is still steady over here. So your supply went from here to down here and it will only trend downwards, and your demand stays completely steady, the same as it was before. Which means there's going to be a supply issue in the future. We don't have it right now. We are still only a few months out from the trade up update. However, it will happen. And it will cause an increase in price. You don't have to listen to me and purchase it. What you're gonna have to do in 2 years though is buy it from me for 5 times the price. So suck on that. Second, as we approach the next armory update, looking at the fever case or the skins within it might not be a terrible play. The knives within it have pretty good demand for some reason, and it's generally good to just diversify across the entire armory before an update like this comes out. That way, you don't get fucked if they only discontinue shit you don't have. Even if they don't discontinue it, the fever case's price is locked at 80 cents or 2 stars. So not only that, but eventually it will get rotated out. And I don't think the next case will have the same knives as the fever case. I do think the next case will probably have gloves. Last thing on our watch list for this week is going to be the AK Slate itself. Not as an arbitrage opportunity, but as just something to buy and hold. The snakebite case will still get opened, the supply will go down, and this gun will follow the price of the snakebite case, which is its underlying asset. Take a look at the Slate's chart. It's pretty beautiful. No spikes, no pumps, just steady upwards movement. And it's not just for any wear, stat track, minimal wear, well worn, wherever you want. Whatever you can afford. It just kind of just goes up. It's the most blue chip stock I've ever seen in the current market right now. It reminds me of what the AK Redline was back in CSGO. It was basically a currency. It was locked at $7 for like 8 years. So you can arbitrage it in the short term, take advantage of that opportunity, and then take those winning funds and buy some more slates. So what defined this week? In the absence of China, we kind of have to have some fun ourselves. A few dumps freeing up some capital for their next move, a broader market that just kind of held the line, stayed steady throughout the 7 days, and an Anubis Collection that's slowly inching its way back into buy territory. The pumpers wiped the slate clean. Every item is back on the table now. New buying patterns, new targets will emerge. And you'll see it first on DE News China on Fridays and DE News on next Sunday. I'll see you then. But don't wait until then. There'll be a new video out every day pretty much. Might take tomorrow off. I don't know yet. You'll find out if I post a video or not. Peace.